Guys, welcome back to Remove Before Race, and here I am in Mercedes-Benz World in Brooklands, and sitting right there just under this glorious AMG crest is the first more racing version of the AMG GT, and I'm going to unveil it to you right now. Let's come and take a look at it. Right guys, here we go. I'm super excited about this. You know me, I live and breathe AMG GT, right? So a new GT variant, particularly one that's a bit more racy, absolutely gets me going. And this is the brand new GT63 Pro. And it's the first more racing version of this AMG GT generation. I'm kind of smug because I did predict that there would be more variants to this car. A lot of people were like, the normal one's a bit too daily. Well, as you can see, they're stepping up a gear now. This could be the first of many. And I'm going to show you everything about it. It's really interesting. We've got more power, first of all. So it's up to 612 brake horsepower. They have done more on the aerodynamics to give more downforce. And finally, a whole new cooling strategy, which is portrayed by this more aggressive front end. To start off, let's have a look around it together and I can show you the big changes that they've made. So guys, here is our first more racetrack oriented version of the AMG GT. And this is the GT63 Pro. We've used that name Pro before. That's something I'll talk about a little bit later in the video. First of all, I want to talk to you about the design differences which you can really see on the front end. This is a whole new front bumper. Perhaps not as visible with this livery spec that we've done here because the Goodwood Festival of Speed is kicking off today. I literally filmed this today on the day that this video has been released, so it's been a bit of a speed run, if you like, which is appropriate considering the type of car this is. But there is another version of this which you can see here in Arctic Grey, and we're going to talk about that as well because that is really the real car. And you can really tell on that one on the front end what's gone on. Let's point out those bits here. We've got a whole new front bumper, and this has been done because of the new cooling strategy. So it's not there for show. It's been done because we've got brand new radiators that sit in the front two wheel arches that are required for cooling. And if you get up close, you can see this is actually a really, really aggressive look. You've got the slats in here. You've got the carbon fiber flick that goes around with those aero elements on the side of the air curtain here. If we sneak in, you should be able to see some radiators back there, which are going to be on both sides of the wheel arches. And overall, as a difference compared to standard AMG GT, it's actually quite significant. And I will show you that versus a normal one in a minute. So that helps. I think it reduces the bulk that the normal car has a little bit on the front, which it's a bit more of a relaxed car, right? And this one is a bit more sporty, and we'll go into what they've done and what they've changed. The wheels remain the same, though there is a new finish, which is in Himalaya Grey, as you can see in the other B-roll that we have here. And that mimics what we had in the AMG GTR Pro, but they are still their best forged lightweight alloys. Now, however, carbon ceramics come as standard, which saves a good amount of weight. And we've also got updated brakes here for better cooling, thanks to a titanium addition within there. And as you can see, the car also comes standard with Cup 2Rs like we had in the Black Series. Side of the car is pretty much identical, but you do get the aerodynamic package as standard on this. Again, we're trying to get the most downforce possible all of the time. So Aero Pack comes as standard, as do the CCBs. And the rear, God, do I love the body of the new AMG GT. It is so damn muscular. Now, how nice is that rear? Wide rear haunches, the wing really reminds you of the AMG GTR. The keen-eyed among you will notice the flag badge on the back. That is from the GTR Pro. The Black Series had a little flag as well, and it just denotes the idea that this is, a bit more to do with track driving. And I will talk about where I think they're going with this whole naming scheme, because some of you might be a little bit confused by it, and I'll try and break it down for you at the end of the video. So yeah, overall, a good looking car. Not much changed on the rear or the sides. Obviously, you can spec it in a way that is different thanks to the different alloy options, but fundamentally, it is a base GT just made a bit more aggressive, particularly thanks to that really more aggressive. And I think it is a front end that has reduced some of the bulk of the GT. And I really like that. That is a good looking AMG, isn't it? Now guys, inside the car, again, the bucket seats come as standard. And though this one doesn't have any rear seats, you can still option them into the Pro, which is cool because I think they've then maintained that daily livability that makes this version of the GT still stand out. And I like that because then they've maintained that, the daily livability aspect that makes this version of the GT stand out. As you'll see later, the stuff that's been changed in here, it's not to the level that you would consider this, just a track car. It is nice that it's still usable daily because I think that's what the main use of this car is going to be. There's no other changes in terms of the interior trim, etc. All of this is just as we found in the GT63. What options will be available, we'll find out at a later date. Man, this is nostalgic being here. Not just because this is where AMG released the GTR, like literally right here when it came down in the helicopter, but this is also where we've done so much content in RBR back in the early days. You guys will remember, the older subscribers. So I think that's what they were going for. We've got Goodwood. As I said, I literally filmed this today and it's going to be on the stands over the weekend. So if you want to see it, do head over to Goodwood Festival of Speed. So GT63 Pro. What are we talking about? Performance figures wise, they've upped the power. It's literally just engine software. So 612 brake horsepower now, and we've got 850 Newton meters of torque, so a raise in torque. 0 to 60 is about the same, but 0 to 200, half a second quicker at 10.9, which is damn impressive. But I don't think this is about power. Let's go back to the GTR Pro. You guys remember the GTR Pro, right? This was a strange car because it was very much pro in the sense that it was a one-dimensional vehicle that was only good for track use because it had that suspension system that was literally just in Sport Plus the whole time. It had no adaptive element to it. Whereas the GTR standard car and the GT Black series had the adaptive suspension, which ironically made both of those really good daily cars. The Pro was only good at one thing, and that was being better on track. And it didn't have more power. It just focused on cooling and aerodynamics, which is, funnily enough, what this car focuses on as well. Though we did get a power bomb, which I'm happy about. Well done, AMG. So in terms of the cooling, as I said, we've got 2 additional radiators on each of the front wheel arches. And these, of course, promote better cooling. So those new radiators sit in the front of the lovely new front end that we have sitting behind those carbon fiber flicks. And of course, that helps with cooling. Then we've got more active cooling, and this is for the rest of the drivetrain. So your diff, etc. And those are electronically controlled water cooling elements on both our front axle and our rear axle as well. So again, all of this with the mind of cooling. Then we have aerodynamic benefits, and though we can't see it, essentially they've taken some of the under aero that was used in the AMG 1 to help increase the downforce on the rear by 15 kg and on the front by 30. And we know this about downforce, that it's going to help the car feel that much more reactive and dynamic when driving it hard. I will be driving this next week, or I will be getting a co-driving this next week, I should say. So I will be filling you in on the channel as to what that was like. But really, proof of the pudding will be in the driving, because these are these incremental changes that should help the Pro be that much better. But the nice thing about the Pro is that it maintains its daily usability, and we'll talk about that in a sec. Now, you can't really tell that much how the spec has changed with this liveried up Goodwood version of the car. Here's a standard car with the Pro additions on it, and you can see now much more clearly what that front end looks like and what it's doing. The wheels are, of course, the Himalaya grain ones. There are 3 options for the wheels: the grey, the black, and the tech gold ones. You always get the aerodynamic package, as we said. But yeah, that is essentially what it looks like. And when you compare it to the standard car, you can see the standard car looks much more relaxed on the front, and this gives it that more aggressive look. So guys, that is your first look at this new AMG GT63 Pro. I'd love to know what you guys think. To me, it feels a bit more like just an S model, right? Where you've got this incremental bump, a bit more dynamism, but I get where they're going with the Pro. What's nice is, unlike the GTR, as we discussed, this maintains its daily usability where you can still spec the 2 rear seats. And what's also interesting is you still get cool things like the semi-active suspension, etc. So all of that element remains. You're just getting a car that's better on the racetrack as well. It'll be interesting to see in the future if they do like an even further variant. I'm still convinced that they will. They have the passion. The new CEO is really passionate about all this as well. But yeah, this is hopefully the first of many. I think it's a good option if you want a racier daily AMG GT, and I will be getting a co-drive, etc. soon, and I'll fill you in on all of that. I hope you enjoyed this video back in RBR's old HQ, if you like, and I'll see you guys next time with this car soon.